So this is super exciting. So I am joined in the Collectors Lounge Meet the Team sessions by Sandy Robb from StampIT, which is the ASPS, hopefully I've said that right, youth program. So welcome, Sandy. I'm going to hand over to you now. Thank you so much for joining us. Hi, everyone.
Well, thank you. And I'm actually not going to sit here and tell you all about StampIT and the resources it has. You can probably do that by looking on the website yourself. And I will go into a wee bit later, but I wanted to actually tell you in a different way what StampIT is really all about. So bear with me, because I'm going to take you on a little journey. I will stray from philately, I'll warn you about that now. And I'm also going to hold up some pictures of stamps that I know would be better to see the stamps on sharing my screen or on a PowerPoint, but it would spoil the flow of what I'm doing, and you'll understand when I do what I'm doing. I probably should stop waffling about it and just do it. So it starts with this stamp. Let's get it focused so you can see it. There we go. It's not a very amazing stamp. It's not an unusual stamp. It's not a very valuable stamp. It's a stamp with a deer on it. What species of deer? Well, it's got the scientific name on it. And if you look up the scientific name, you find out that its common name is David's deer. That's a strange name for a deer, isn't it? Well, wonder why? Why is it called that? Oh, I may be able to help you. Bonjour, I am Armand David. I am a French missionary who in 1800s traveled all across China, and I found many interesting new species. And that deer is called after myself. Oh, you may be more familiar with another animal that I have discovered. I discovered the giant panda. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Per David, for popping in there and explaining the name of that deer. Yeah, he mentioned the giant panda. I've got a giant panda on a stamp as well. Now, some of you philatelists might be able to tell me if this is the very first giant panda appeared in the stamp in the world. You can tell me about that later, because I think it is. It was 1963. And this isn't a set of StampIT cards, which have got lots of, it's one of the StampIT games actually. It's got lots of activities and the things you can do about it. But again, when I look at this stamp and the giant panda, I think, what is it? What is it that makes the giant panda special and different from the other bears? I wonder what it is. Maybe I can help you with that. Excuse me, but who are you? Well, I'm you, but I'm the other side of you. I'm Sandy Robb still, but I work for the Royal Zoological Society of Scotland and manage the Beyond the Panda programme. I teach about giant pandas every day, so there, I can tell you all about giant pandas, but I'll keep to just 2 points. 2 points that you asked that were different. Why are they special? Why are they different from other bears? Well, one of the things is their hands. They have an overgrown wrist bone down here to help them hold their bamboo, because they don't have an opposable thumb like us. It's only apes and monkeys that'll have this opposable thumb. Actually, I think I need one of my props here to make this a wee bit better. Here we go, a giant panda hand. And they're the 5 fingers, but they're all straight, those fingers. What they have here is this special bone, and this special bone the other bears don't have. And it bends a little. See it bending? And of course, what they can do is they can put their straight fingers round the bamboo. Hang on, straight fingers on their own. Not much use for gripping, but they bend up that special bone, and look, with one hand, they've got excellent grip of their bamboo. So there's one thing, just to let you see. It's made it more clear if you see the skeleton. 5 straight fingers, overgrown wrist bone that acts like a thumb. So it's kind of like having 6 fingers. Fantastic. The one other thing I'm going to tell you about giant pandas is they evolved these big, large teeth. They evolved big, large teeth to cope with eating the bamboo. And because they evolved then, their head became a rounder and shorter nose. And there you go, fantastic big flat teeth for chewing and chewing on. As opposed to the other bears, which will be more this shape. This is a black bear, but you'll find, although there'll be different sizes, you'll find most of the bears will look like this, and they'll have smaller, sharper, slicing past teeth. There you go. Oh, well, okay. Thank you, me, for telling us all about the giant panda. And yeah, there's one thing else I noticed about this card. And in fact, lots of the cards, here's one with a tiger on it as well. There are all these Chinese cards. They have these characters on them. I mean, what does that mean? What's that all about? I can help you again with that, because in Beyond the Panda, we also teach Mandarin, and they're Chinese characters. So what they say on most of the Chinese stamps will be Xiong Zhengming Youzhang, and that means the People's Republic of China Postal Service. And of course, the characters, on that tiger stamp, there was more characters. There was characters telling you what type of tiger it was. That was the Huanan Hu, and Huanan Hu means the South China tiger. But where did these characters come from? Well, Chinese is an ancient language, 4,000 years ago, and there were simple drawings at that time. This time I will share my screen to help explain this. Hang on a minute. Oh, host is disabled. I can't share my screen. Isabel, can you allow me to share my screen? It. And oops, where's it? Can I share my screen now? I can. Here we go. It should be this. Share. And hopefully you're seeing an ancient character, which I hope you agree looks very like a tiger. So that was what they call the oracle script, because it was found on the bones of animals. It's evolved over time as well. And it moved to that, and to that. And now it looks like that, which is the modern day Chinese character for tiger. Hu. And I'm just going to, that was all. I'm going to stop sharing that now. I could go through lots of Chinese characters that have that. They have their origin back at the pictures. Some of them are pictograms, some of them are ideograms, because obviously there's lots of words that you can't draw a picture on. So you're drawing an idea of the picture. Some of them are a mixture of pictograms and ideograms, but there's a lot of the Chinese modern characters that are phonograms. So that means they have part of the character that has the meaning and part of the character that has the related to the sound. It's a fascinating language. The other part about their language is that it's really a descriptive language. They say things as they mean. I noticed in the StampIT collection, there was this old stamp about a compass. Now, a compass in Chinese, it's Zhu Nanzhen. And what it actually means, though, character for character, because you see, some Chinese words, they're made up of either 1, 2, or 3 characters. But what it means is that when you translate literally character for character, you get the absolute meaning. And that means to point at the south with a needle. Point at the south with a needle. Well, what else is a compass? I love the language because it is so descriptive, and there's so many words that act like that. Right then, oh, thank you, my other self again. Back to my stamp itself. Yeah, that compass stamp did intrigue me, because It doesn't look anything like a compass. That's because it's an ancient compass. In fact, it was the Chinese that invented the compass. So what else did the Chinese invent? They invented loads of things. There's too long a list for me to go through. And one of the things they invented was paper. Oh, paper. That brings us to why we can have these lovely stamps today on paper. I could go on and on and on, believe me. But just in those few minutes that I've been speaking, look how much we've learned. And it all started with this simple deer on a stamp. I hope I've made my point. I could have taken any stamp. I could have wandered off in lots of different directions, but that's what StampIT is all about. Now, I will show you a bit of the StampIT site later, and I will explain a wee bit more about what we can do, what we do. But I thought I would stop there for a few moments to see whether there was any questions just about that sort of bit that I've covered, or any comments.
Hi everyone, it's Isabel. To ask Sandy a question, you can just simply unmute yourself and ask her, or you can pop it in the chat section, which is at the bottom of your screen.
Oh, I have to look at the chat. So,
me.
hi.
How did the old compass work? If the magnet, like, isn't a compass work with magnets? But how did the? It must have been like a very powerful magnet for it to bring that like thick needle.
Yeah, it was made from lodestone. I don't know, you're going out of my expertise zone here. I know it was made from lodestone. I believe that's got a magnetic material in it. Wonder if anybody else maybe knows more than me about that. My expertise in the Chinese part is the language and the giant pandas, and it doesn't stretch to the compass, but I do know that they invented it. So it's a very good question, and I'll maybe have to look up about that. But see how stamps, see, that's a stamp that you could do that. You could do that, and you could enter StampIT's competition, because there's a fantastic competition. It's StampIT's first world competition. And it's, what you can do is you can choose any stamp that you want and do a wee presentation on it, and you can make a poster about it, or you can do a wee video presentation on it. It's however you want to talk about that stamp, or what's on that stamp, and what that stamp's about, or which country, you know, covered it. So it's quite an interesting competition, and it's open to 5 to 15-year-olds. So I know there's quite a few bit older than you in the audience here that can't enter, but you certainly can.
We've just
Oh yeah, it's just on chat. Yeah, pandas they're political animals as well as animals that have actually gone, but the program has worked because the money that goes from zoos to the giant pandas goes directly to conservation of giant pandas. And from being critically endangered in 1965, then up to endangered in 1990. In 2016, they're now what we class as vulnerable. That means we're still worried about them, but it's a fantastic program that shows that conservation can work. So whatever you think about the politics around it, they are ambassadors. Yes, see that in chat. Well, do you want me then to show you a bit of the website, show exactly what we do? A lot of it's based on games, board games, card games, but I have changed recently to been trying to put more of it as online games, not games that you have to download and print to play, but games that are interactive and online. And of course, that has been forced upon us over this last year. It'll take me time to change everything that way, but what I would hope that there would be a printable version that people can download and have the paper copy, and also be an interactive online game for it. So I'm going to share my screen again. Where's the shared screen gone bit? That's it. And I'm going to go to here, I think. Yep. There we go. And you should see StampIT's homepage. StampIT's. Right, so bit about StampIT. I am the Youth Development Officer for the Association of Scottish Philatelic Societies and ASPS. And so that's who supports StampIT. But we also get some funding from Stamp Active and SPTA, which is the Scottish Philatelic Trade Association. So I've got a big thank you to them because they help us fund it. But we are a different organisation from Stamp Active. Stamp Active do wonderful things as well, but I suppose StampIT takes a different angle on things. And StampIT is a member now of the PTS, so we've got that accreditation of the quality from them, which is fantastic. The first wee bit says I'm at StampX. That's the Around the World with Stamps competition that I mentioned. So you can just click on the picture or click on the word flyer and you get to the flyer. The main body of it is a lot about language, because I suppose my sort of strap line that I've come up with is within stamps lies an entire world of language and culture. And because my job, my other me that you saw, is RZSS's language project coordinator, because RZSS doesn't just own some zoos in Scotland, we work worldwide. And so there's projects that link with language across the world. And I thought, hang on a minute, I could do that job in my voluntary work as well, and bring, because stamps, what a fantastic medium for bringing language. So let's just look at this Spanish one. You click on the Spanish one, you can download the game board, which is all in Spanish, and each stamp that you land on, there's cards to download that give you challenges. And some of those challenges are just finding out a wee bit more about the animal or the object or the person or the place that's on the stamp. Some of them are about actually forming a sentence in Spanish about that. And so it links language learning with it. The cards are all there. But there is, oh, and that was all. These have been, all the stamp images were from the Spanish one, or from permission with Correos de España. So it's the same with all my games. I have had permission from the postal authorities, and Royal Mail gave us permission to do a set of nature language cards. But those nature language cards appear in lots of the different languages. So there's a French one, English one, a French one, a Mandarin one, and a Spanish one, and a Gaelic one, Scottish Gaelic one. And here there's you can download those cards and labels, print them out and have them as a hard copy. But there is, as an example of the interactive game one. To take a bit of time to load up. There it is. And you just click that read. And there you get a wee kind of drag and drop. So you have to choose from them what's the Spanish word for bird. It's el pájaro. And if you get it, you can check. Yeah, I did get it right. And there's a wee bit about the robin that's on that bird. And there's a wee bit of stamp information. And that is the same. It goes through all of these stamps, gives you similar thing, a wee test of your language, a wee bit of further information, and a wee bit of stamp information. And as I say, you can wander into any of these. The Mandarin one has a whole program from lower primary and upper primary booklets that kids can work through. all based on stamps. The geography of stamps, I can see there's some Australians with us. There was the Australian game, the Australian game board, which you can download. Again, there's challenges for each of those animals within Australia, but there is also an Australian game version, and there's a match the states and territories. So there we go. We take a wee bit of loading up, but you've got to get all your territories moved over to the right place. And oh, no, where are we going? But all those challenge cards are now in an online game about there. Using the stamps, but using the stamps to learn about the other animals. So there we go. Which of those animals fits those things? So we learn about monotremes and we learn about marsupials and all sorts of things. So it is, now it does have stampy things. So there is a section. It's not truly what StampIT's about. StampIT's about using the stamps to learn lots more. But there is a section all about stampy things, and that goes into perforations, it goes into perfins, it goes into watermarks, it goes into lots of definitions, Cinderellas, and all sorts of things like that. So there is a whole section on the actual philatelic side of things too. Other websites, links to some definitely links to Exploring Stamps, links to Art Stamp, links to ASPS, links to StampActive, links to the Digital Philatelist, which of course then massively links to loads of other sites. So it's all there. Right, we will stop sharing again. And yep, any questions or anything you don't think I've covered? Please speak to me.
Hello, Sandy.
Hi.
Ralph Stuttard from StampActive. We've tried to promote you on the various sites today without a great deal of success. It's good to see about 15 or 20 people here today. I managed to get a question into the chairman of the Royal in his last presentation about PowerPoint presentations, about the future of exhibiting and multimedia presentations. It's great to see that StampActive have got that StampIT have got the competition on digital media. Do you know if that's the first competition that's ever been done on digital media?
It's a well, yes, and I don't know because I don't know about anybody else. It's the first one that StampIT has promoted that way, but our language competitions last year it's 2 years ago now, I didn't say you could do it that way. I said you could do it more in a traditional way, that you were to make a poster, make a sort of take one stamp and make an artistic sheet around this one stamp. And it was a school that entered it, and what they had done is they had done it correctly. They made a poster, but they put a QR code at the bottom of their poster. And when you scanned that QR code, you got to see a video of the kids talking about the stamp. And that is what gave me the idea to do it that way, because I thought, so I have to give credit that is to that school that were joint winners of that competition for that idea of putting a QR code in. And I know it's been talked about on the portal, definitely, with Digital Philatelist, Punk Philatelist, and Exploring Stamps, about this use of how competitions have to be entered and how ways are doing, and how people have to realize that there is this technology here today. And you say maybe QR code to some people and they haven't a clue what it is in philately. So you've got to embrace the new way that we can present things.
That's great. Thanks very much. Interesting to hear you talk about QR codes, because we were hoping perhaps at London 2022 to have some sort of competition for children involving QR codes to encourage them to wander around the hall. I'll certainly touch base with you as to whether there's something that could perhaps be included. What we need is somebody to help develop that, really.
Right, well, I'm not sure I'm the technical person to do that, but I can certainly, I'll certainly help when I can, yeah.
Great, thank you. Does anyone else have a question? I can see a couple of people with their, John?
Yes, thanks, Isabel. Sandy, I just wanted to say, firstly, congratulations and thank you. I love your energy. I love the initiatives in producing these materials. They're absolutely fantastic. And of course, it just proves that it's not just the little bits of paper. It's the fact that it brings stories to life, and you're doing that brilliantly. And so well done. Who are you?
Thank you.
You say the technology isn't new. So how are you doing this? Have you got? Is this being paid for professionally, or have you got some?
I create the website, yes, and I create all those games. But that was a massive learning curve. I had to do our website. What StampIT did have pre-COVID was part of the ASPS website where you were able to just, so I design all the games and all the hard copy stuff. And yes, you could do that. I know I've got Photoshop, I've got designing sort of techniques. What I used to do is just have PDFs that could be downloaded, and they were put on our ASPS website. But then I started working again from beyond the Panda, from my RZSS job, having to have a proper Moodle site, it's called. So it's a more interactive site. It's a site that lots of learning courses are run on, and I had to learn that there. So I thought, hang on a minute, I could probably do that with StampIT. And it was a bit more than I thought it was, because obviously for RZSS, there's a team of people down there that had kind of done the framework for me, and all I needed to do was a bit of the creating on top of that. For StampIT, I had to know everything and do the whole thing, but it actually is not that difficult a site. Moodle is a really nice site to work with that. And then the interactive games are from the format, the base of it comes from a company called H5P, and it's free. But you just have that initial format. You have to create and make it. And there is a wee bit of code that you have to do for it, but usually not. Usually it should all be straightforward.
Well, you're doing a brilliant job, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Graham, I see you've got your camera. Do you have a question? Your camera.
Yeah, no, not a question, more of a comment. Hi, everyone. Sandy, this was super. I really enjoyed your presentation. The energy is just thrilling. And what I really love about StampIT is that it embodies, or it really embraces everything that I like about stamps and philately and what attracted me to the hobby. It's the geography, it's the language, it's learning about why a panda has 5 fingers that are lateral and an extra thumb. So, I mean, that kind of stuff is awesome. And the fact that you've placed it into games and you've created other content that can just support that is something I really am impressed with. So well done. And I just hope to point to this more for any of my viewers and anybody else that I come across in the hobby that is interested to learn more. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And that comes, I mean, that's really good coming from you, who's the video king, I would have said, of philately at the moment. And the way that you also explore a stamp in the way you do.
Thank you.
Brilliant, thank you. Has anyone else got any other questions? I can see that Jack is unmuted.
Quick question, will you be putting your this video onto YouTube?
Yes, we will be putting the video onto YouTube.
Thank you, because I'll link it from the StampIT site.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Jack, I can see you're unmuted.
Yeah. All
Would you
right.
like
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you, Sandy, and got some friends here. Graham, John. Yeah. And yeah, I like it. It's very, very interesting. You know, especially to kids. I think maybe they like, they enjoy. I think there, I can see there are 2 kids there. they enjoy it. And I just want to know whether I can put your StampIT the website link in my website. I got Philately Museum. Gringham is my
Yes, please.
yeah.
I mean,
Gringham.
any marketing, any forwarding of letting people know about StampIT would be brilliant, because
Yeah.
I think that's the thing I'm not that good at. I'm a teacher, I'm a qualified teacher, so I'm pretty confident in that I can design these materials, I can teach these materials.
Yeah.
What I'm not very good is marketing, and what I'm not very good is telling people about
Very
it.
good, very good. I
Help
think
with that I would greatly appreciate.
thank you very much. And Graham Beck, is also my advisor, my Philately Museum's advisor.
I am
And,
indeed, yes.
Thank you, Graham, for your support. And I can put, in my website, and try to, attract more, youngsters, to like this great hobby. I think we need more children, to join us, because it seems to me, to be honest, I'm the youngest, baby. So, and also, of course, even Mr. Klemker, is my good friend. It's a great pity, my friend passed away. About I think almost about 1 year now, over 1 year now. Yeah, Isabel.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, shame, and I can still remember, because to be honest, I think maybe I'm the last person, got email from your dad, to be honest, and I'm writing up my second book about Penny Black. So I tried to ask your dad to give me permission, to use his, some of his collections images. So we need children to join us. So how about that 2 young philatelists? How about you? You enjoy this show, yeah?
Yep.
All right. I can see our.
Everybody enjoys it.
Oh, that's good. I can see our president here. Our president-elect of the Royal, Peter here.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Sandy. That was very interesting, and I enjoyed it too. I want to ask Vanessa and her children what the object is behind their heads. Is it the skeleton of something? Have you been doing a little too much homeschooling, or is this just simply another doctor's studio?
Well, that was our brother. Wait, what?
Like it.
Hilarious.
The joke is that he was one of the children who didn't eat what mum made for dinner.
All right,
So
exactly.
it's an example.
Exactly. If you don't eat up your Brussels sprouts, that's what happens to you.
Brussels sprouts? Where?
That's where her likes them.
Well, only when Nana makes them. She makes them. Well.
Okay. No, on a slightly more serious note, as Jack has said, I am privileged to be Vice President of the Royal and coming up to the presidency later in the year. But one of the things that's been going through my head for a little while is in the process of trying to get children and juveniles and young people into philately. We have a wonderful building in the middle of London, which is very much underused. And I just wonder if we were to kind of organize a session for children to come to the Royal and be shown around and have a look at some of the exhibits and the museum and the library and things like that, and given a can of Coke and a sandwich or whatever. When would be the best time for this? I mean, one or two of you, I think, are teachers and things like that. How would one organize that? Could you, do you think, get children from local schools to come, on a Wednesday lunchtime, or would it have to be on a Saturday? Or have you any ideas that would help us to maybe create something which would be useful for young people?
When I did, so pre-COVID, StampIT went out and did outreach to youth clubs, and they would have to be after school. So they were after school. There were things like brownies and guides and scouts and or youth clubs. And then another one we had at our local library, or it wasn't my local library, it was the Edinburgh Library. We had a stamp club for a while and that was Saturday mornings. So yes, if it would, or summer holidays, there's another, Easter holidays, summer holidays, after school.
Summertime.
Yeah. So
from our perspective, obviously we're home educating.
You're home educating.
Yeah, and I run quite a big support group for home educators. A lot of them belong to our stamp club, and we meet every week. So it's actually part of our children's education. It's not an extracurricular. It's part of what they use for their learning.
Most of it isn't actually stamp collecting. Most of it's in a breakout room and being like, hey, you want to play Roblox?
No, I think you're meant to tell your mom that bit.
But yeah, I mean, we'd like to arrange something on a regular school day, and obviously without COVID or whatever to worry about. But we're reasonably flexible, and I could tap into quite a large audience. You tell us how many people we need as a minimum, and I'm pretty sure we could do that. We organize a lot of in normal times field trips and activities. So something like that, going to your place and having a good look around, awesome, from just a cross-curricular perspective, because of the fact that, I mean, we use stamps for learning geography, learning history, so many things. So yeah, let us know what you can offer and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I'm sure it was my stamp collection which got me the knowledge that makes me so angry when all these TV shows, people don't know the capital of Morocco or where Rio de Janeiro is, and they don't even know how many children the Queen's got, half of them. So stamps are the things to learn all that from. I'm absolutely sure of it. And Google is a wonderful thing, but it doesn't answer everything.
And it's also nicer to do things a bit more personal than Google, I would say, at times. What I could do.
Thanks very much.
What I could do now, I mean, certainly for Vanessa and our home educators, is that kind of presentation that I did on Zoom, or because what I do in my other self is I teach every day with virtual learning now, because again, pre-COVID, what I would do would be travel all around Scotland teaching, but the last year I've had to have innovated lessons that as interactive as possible online. So I could do some voluntary StampIT stuff as well.
That would be amazing. Thank you. And I have dropped some hints with Graham, and I've dropped some hints with Suzanne. I will reach out after StampX directly. Just saying, if you folks do anything like virtual visits, we can certainly, hopefully, match diaries to your convenience.
Yeah.
I mean,
so just
every week on a Monday, but that doesn't matter to us. If you're available on X date at X time, we'll try and work around that, because it would be awesome to have some real live experts coming to talk to us.
Well, just chat to me afterwards, and
I will. Thank you.
Something arranged.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here.
Thank you.
Let me know, and we can work something out.
Brilliant, thank you. Well, they love your videos, Graham. When my son saw you online, tell him what you, well, the nice thing that you said, not the rude thing.
Or tell us the rude thing as well.
I didn't know
I was
that.
like, this is epic, because you know they're all about YouTube. That's a YouTuber, this is epic.
And the first thing I said,
No, not if it's rude.
No problem. You can let him say anything.
when I first saw your channel, I thought that my uncle was
All right.
created a YouTube channel, but it turns out it was someone who just looked like my uncle.
Good. Brigham will be happy to be on your uncle, you know.
He's a
Brilliant.
very good looking uncle.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so
Definitely.
much, Sandy. That was excellent. Has anyone got any other questions for Sandy, or are we good to wrap it? No, thank you so much, Sandy. I think that will you be
you.
on the StampIT booth now?
I
for a
will
little bit?
be on the StampIT booth now and be
Perfect.
back. I will just tidy away my props.
Excellent.
Be back.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.